Right, so what we want to do now is make sure that everything works when we deploy. So the good thing about Vercel is when we actually deploy after the first time, any commits we make on our repository to a certain branch, for example, the main branch in this case, it will then deploy the latest code that we have committed basically. So what we need to do is, let me just close everything down. First thing we should do before we do anything is run a build. So npm run build, just to see if everything works and all of our static pages are being created as well. So this is where, again, Next.js compiles everything, connects our static pages, and you can see now we've got an error in here. So it says error occurred pre-rendering page / reviews, and let's see why that's failed. So let's actually check this error. So I'm going to copy this and open it up. If we go into here, I'm pretty sure it's to do with the API not being available. So in here it says, while pre-rendering a page, next build, an error occurred. This can happen to various reasons, including incorrect file structure, expecting props to be populated which are not available during pre-rendering, using browser-only APIs and components without proper check, and incorrect configuration in get static props or get static paths. This has basically happened because we are using the APIs that are not running at the minute, so we can't really build without an API, which is fine. So I'm not worrying about that too much, but we will need to revisit what the issue is. So let me just quickly go into here, and what we need to do is we need to create a GitHub repo. And generally what will happen with Vercel is your GitHub repo will connect to whatever Vercel is. So let me just go in here, and then I'm going to create a repository. This is going to be Next.js 15 crash course, like so. This is public, so let me just create this repository. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, connect our work to that repo. So git init initializes it. Let me just paste this in and edit and press enter, like so. So now all we need to do is do git add, git commit, and then you commit message -m of whatever we've done. So in this scenario, it will be a feature created the travel app with Next.js 15, like that. Press enter, and now all you need to do is git push, and then I generally just copy this instead of typing it out and press enter. So now this will push all of our changes to the repo that we need. And now what we can do is refresh this page. We have our code that we need in here, so that's all good. Now we need to go into Vercel. Now what I want to do is add new project, import this one in, and then we can basically just deploy. So now this is all going to build everything for us, and this should work. So now that we've deployed it, what's going to happen is it's building now. So let's go into here and let's check the logs out. So basically it's building everything. So once it has built everything, we'll be right back. Right, so now everything's completed. It says here deployment completed, uploading build cache. So in here you can see all of the pre-rendered pages that we have static pages of 9. Everything works correctly. Then it assigns a custom domain and so on. We can now see our deployed application. So again, we have our URL in here. You can update that. So let's actually go and update this in our application. So now we've deployed it, and if we basically do base path in here, you can see essentially, let's just copy this, find that, and then replace it with our own version. So let me just go into here, copy this and replace it. So replace everywhere. Then we can also redeploy this as well if you need to, but let's just keep it as it is. Then this is our final build. So we've now done the Next.js crash course. Again, everything we have covered is available in the description. We've done all of these topics in here, so this is a good basis on working with Next.js 15. Let's look at the final app. So in here we have, this is our final app. You can change the favicon and so on, but again, let's go. If we inspect, let's go into console. We've got an error. What's the error? Now we have the cause error, which again is because we're using cross-origin resource, because we're using an external API. So what we want to do is use our own now, which is what we have. So again, we can just say changed base endpoint in here, and then all we can do now is redeploy, make sure everything works, and it should do this time. So all you do in Vercel is just click back, and you can see here now we've changed base endpoint, so everything will be building. Again, we have a firewall active. You can also enable your analytics if you want to. So again, let's just click into here, let all of the build logs complete, and then once this has completed, then we will be able to check everything works, and we will be right back. Right, so now that's built, let's go ahead and test everything works. So let's just inspect, make sure there's no errors in the console. So let's click let's go, and there are errors. So it's saying here this endpoint has been blocked. So again, now that we've deployed, what will happen in the local environment, sometimes it works fine, everything works correctly. So when we deploy to production, something else occurs. So this is what happens in a normal circumstance. So what we need to do is fix this error. It's a simple fix. What we need to do is go into next config. So in here, all we need to do is paste this part in, which is essentially we've got our URL in here of the value of allow origin, and we want this to be true for allow credentials. We're allowing the methods of get, post, and options, and again allow headers in here. So that's everything. And then again we want to match all API paths in here. So now what we just want to do is allow only the front end of our application. So in here now, all we need to do is add in the commit message saying added in the headers into next config, like so. And then all you need to do is commit and push. And now this will basically save all and commit changes. So now this will fix everything for us in terms of the cause issues that we are having. So let's just go into here in our Vercel. If you press back, you can see this one's building. So let's see what's happening with this one. And once it has built, we will be right back. Right, so now that's built, let's go ahead and test this one out. So let me just close down all of the other tabs that we have. So in here now, let's click and check what is going on. So let's click let's go, inspect console, and you can see runtime error, and then this one's been blocked. So it's saying here that we have a double slash going on in here. So let's just actually find that in the code and try and fix that. So let's just search for this URL here and replace everything that we have. So this value is fine. This one has a slash in it, so we need to remove that. It's just basically adding the extra slashes in for no reason, because we also have the slash API there. So again, we could create the global value for this so it doesn't do this. And now let's save, and we need to redeploy again. So let's go ahead and do that. Updated endpoints. And I believe this should fix everything now. So commit and push this. And I believe that might be the error as well. So it's quite easy to make stupid mistakes like that. So you just need to make sure and be careful when it comes to doing all of this work. So now let's go into Vercel, press back. There's a deployment happening, or if not, it's already happened. It's here now, it's building. So this one should fix everything for us. So let's click into it. And once it is complete, which should be anytime now, we can check this out. Right, so now that's complete. You can see here we have multiple URLs. So let's actually test one of them, and you can see what will happen. So if I inspect this one in the console, if I scroll up, you can see here it says that the cause policy doesn't allow this. So it says here header has a value of this URL over here. So if we go into here, we've only identified this one as the main domain. So what you could do is add these two as well. So for example, let's click on the one we've added as the whitelist. So in here, let's go. And now you can see all of our destinations are showing in here. If we click on view details, you can see our attractions are showing as well. And finally, if you go on reviews, you can see our reviews in here as well. Let me just do a new review in here. So Barcelona, Imran, this was amazing. And then let's give this a rating of 5 and submit. Review submitted successfully, and you can see it's updated in my API over here as well. So that is the Next.js 15 crash course. To recap, what we've covered is we've set up the Next.js project. We've created a dynamic API with all of our endpoints that we've created. We've fetched data in the server component and client components as well. The dynamic routing for a single ID using the params. We've also looked at not found for invalid pages and also created the 404 pages. We've done Tailwind and created a reusable header. We've used our environment variables, and then we've deployed our app to Vercel along with creating our own APIs, like I mentioned before. We've also added in our middleware for processing. And finally, we've optimized the performance with React Server Actions. So that is essentially everything we've covered in this build. And we've also deployed it to Vercel. So anytime we make any changes going forward, everything will just update using Vercel itself. So hopefully everything made sense. And I hope you learned a lot in this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.